A. The cost of one apple is A cents. The cost of one pear is P cents. The total cost of 7 apples and 9 pears is 354 cents. Write down an equation in terms of A and P. The question gives us the total cost of 7 apples and 9 pears, and the total cost can also be calculated from 7 multiplied by the cost of 1 apple plus 9 multiplied by the cost of 9 pears. This means that this expression must equal 354. Therefore, we have an equation in terms of A and P, which is 7A plus 9P equals 354. Two. The cost of one pear is 2 cents more than the cost of one apple. Find the value of A and the value of P. To find the value of A and P, we would need one more expression in terms of A and P. And we can write another expression from the fact that the question gave us, which is that the cost of one pear is 2 cents more than the cost of one apple. This means that the cost of one pear, which is P, must equal 2 plus A, which is the cost of one apple. So now we have P in terms of A, and we can use this to substitute into the expression we got from part 1 to first solve for A. Once we have the value of A, we can use it to substitute it into P equals 2 plus A to find the value of P. Rowena walks 2 kilometers at an average speed of X kilometers per hour. Write down an expression in terms of X for the time taken. From physics, we should know the distance, speed, and time triangle, and from that triangle, we know that time equals distance divided by speed. The distance in this case is 2 kilometers, and the speed is X kilometers per hour. Therefore, the time equals 2 divided by X. Rowena then walks 3 kilometers at an average speed of X minus 1 kilometers per hour. The total time taken to walk the total 5 kilometers is 2 hours. Show that 2x squared minus 7x plus 2 equals 0. What the question wants us to do is to use the information given and write an expression and simplify it to 2x squared minus 7x plus 2 equals 0. The question says that the total time taken to walk the 5 kilometers is 2 hours. Since we have this information, we should try and come up with an expression that represents the total time so that we can use this fact. So the total time, which is equal to 2 hours, would be equal to the time of the first part of the journey plus the time of the second part of the journey. The time taken for the first part of the journey, we already know from part 1 of the question, which is 2 divided by x. The time taken for the second part of the journey, we can also calculate in a similar way because time equals distance divided by speed. The distance for the second part is 3 kilometers and the speed for the second part is x minus 1. Therefore, the time is equal to 3 over x minus 1. This means that 2 hours must equal 2 over x plus 3 over x minus 1. and we can use this expression and try to simplify it and rearrange it into 2x squared minus 7x plus 2 equals 0. If you look at the expression that we want to rearrange it into, it has no fractions, and every term is on one side of the equal sign. So what we need to do is to get rid of the fractions in our expression and move all the terms to one side. We can get rid of the fractions by multiplying both sides of the equation with the product of all the denominators of the fraction. Now that all the fractions are gone, we need to move everything to one side. And once we do that, we get the expression that we want. B. Find the value of x. Show all your working and give your answer correct to 2 decimal places. The expression in question from part A is a quadratic, and the question says give your answer correct to 2 decimal places. This means that it wants you to use the quadratic formula to find x. When you use the quadratic formula, we get 2 answers for x, but in the space where we write the answer, there's only space for 1. So this means that you have to pick between the 2 answers. Which x is correct depends on the question and what x represents in each case. So we must go back to the description of what x is. X represents the average speed, and x minus 1 also represents the average speed. If we try and see whether x equals 3.186 works, the speed, which is represented by x, will equal 3.186 kilometers per hour, and the other speed, which is represented by x minus 1, would equal 2.186 kilometers per hour. Therefore, this is an acceptable answer. If we do the same for x equals 0.3139, the speed represented by x is equal to 0.3139 kilometers per hour, and the speed that is represented by x minus 1 would equal minus 0.686 kilometers per hour, which doesn't work because we cannot have a negative speed. Therefore, x equals 3.186 or 3.19 to 2 decimal places.